Hello and welcome to Premier Perspectives' first installment of our new fan mini-series. Today we are joined by Pablo Hoyos,
Hello,
a
guys.
big fan of Everton. So today we're introducing something new to our channel. We're gonna be starting this brand new mini-series where we're gonna be having fans of Premier League clubs come on and talk for a little bit about why they love the Prem, why they love the club that they support, and everything about that. So first, we're here with Pablo. You want to just introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us everyone about yourself.
Well, my name is Pablo Hoyos. I play soccer. I support Everton. I've been knowing these two for a while now because we both play for the Woolbridge. And me and Ryan actually used to play for the same team back in the old days.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
and I used to play against Javi because he used to play in the older league. But we're just all good friends. We played against each other, all good footballers, and just supporting each other.
So to give a little background to everyone, Everton has had a bit of a mixed season so far. Started off great, 4 wins and 1 draw to start off the season. Pretty great form. They're now at 5 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses. Their form dipped a bit. They currently sit in sixth place in the league, and they have the top goal scorer in Calvert Lewin. So Pablo, first question we have for you is, what made you an Everton fan? What's your first memory?
So the reason why was ever since Lukaku used to play.
Oh,
Like
he's yeah,
he's a beast. He's huge, and the way he plays is just I just love it. But when I really used to start supporting Everton was this year because my favorite player is James Rodriguez, and I'm Colombian. But I've been seeing them back then, and they're a pretty decent team. They're like mostly like the team that nobody really like knows what to expect from them because they're always like in the middle table of the league. So yeah.
yeah. I mean, this year they've with that amazing start. I mean, it looked like this was going to be finally the time they break out of that middle table with all the signings they had. That midfield three, that's the signing of Allen, especially James and Ducore. They're all so solid, and like we expected a lot from them, and they produced in those first 4 games. But James, I honestly didn't think he was going to fit in the Prem. Like I loved him as a player. Like he's a great player, but it's difficult for him to fit because so many systems don't revolve around a player that a technical dribbling player like he is. That's just like straight up talented like he is. But he fit really well and he played that technical role in attacking and just a very central midfield position really well. And so he's been really exciting to watch.
No, yeah. There's been a really big difference, as you can see. Like he used to play in La Liga. The difference between La Liga and the Premier League. The Premier League is more higher competition because it's more physical, it's faster, and it's very difficult for the players to develop.
Yeah,
And I
yeah, for
feel
sure.
like James has done a pretty good, decent job because he's playing in his position. Back in Real Madrid, Zidane, like he always put him in the wing, and that's not really his position. He's more of a attacking midfielder for passes and set plays. Because sometimes when he plays in the wing, he gets lost, and I see sometimes that he comes back to the middle and then he plays his spot. Same thing with every other player. Like when you play your spot, you play good. And I feel like he's gonna do really good things this season if he keeps it up and playing in the spot.
Yeah, for sure. He's always been like drifting to that middle, and that's where he does the most. You saw in that 2014 World Cup, especially with that goal versus Uruguay.
Amazing goal.
No, that was beautiful. That's probably one of the
Amazing.
best goals I've ever watched.
Crazy, bro.
It won the Puskas Award that year. Definitely worth it. It was amazing, but
Yeah.
yeah, definitely that central role is where he shines best, and with nobody else taking the light out of him or taking that spark from him, sitting next to him, when he has the chance to do all that himself and create, he can do it, and he's proven that playing
He's a
for
team
Everton.
player. He's a team player.
I think what helps him and his game so much is that Allen and Decore are two center mids that are more holding. And so since he has that support behind him, it gives Hamas that creative freedom that he needs to create chances as we've seen so far. Everyone knows Hamas is a great passer, great playmaker. So I feel like he's had a big job so far for Everton. But with what Ryan said before, a lot of people did probably question whether he was going to be able to adjust or not because we've seen great players like Higuain or Morata or Di Maria, like great players that come to the Premier League and didn't really do that well. So honestly, it's been great that James has been able to adjust quickly and do well for Everton. But as you see with the form that Everton's been in, what would you say is something that you've enjoyed watching the most this year?
Well, I've enjoyed how like we've been scoring a lot lately. Like we've been scoring consistently, and our attacking is very good. But at the same time, there's times where we leave a lot of spaces like in the defense because we don't like really move up together. I don't know if you guys seen some of the games, but the defense goes all the way up, and James like he's a player that attacks, but I don't know if you've seen he doesn't really defend at all.
Mhm.
So, and overall, I feel like we're doing pretty good, but there's like some things that we can change. And on top of that, there's a bunch of injuries lately that we've had.
Yeah, and injuries are rough. We've seen them a lot this season. Everton wouldn't have the same heavy schedule not being in. I don't believe they're in the Europa League, and definitely not the Champions League. But and there haven't been too many between EFL Cup and whatever the other like interleague ones are. But with all that, how many like not how many, who like what player have you enjoyed watching? I know James obviously the Colombian like there, but you say there's somebody else that you've really enjoyed watching.
Dokure, I
Yeah,
feel like he's a
I
really
agree with that.
solid CDM because that's the same position I play,
Yeah,
and I feel like he's like a box to box player. Like you see him running around the field, but he's always where the ball is, and I feel like that's really good. Even though like the game this past Saturday was it? Like that
uh,
Saturday?
yeah, Saturday against Leeds. It was
Saturday
rough. That was rough.
he's kinda iffy. His touch was not that good, his passes, but you gotta keep on going. He's a really solid player, and I really like how he's doing.
No, I really love that too, and I love watching a solid CDM. A little bit clunky at times, which can be annoying to watch in a CDM, especially when you want to see one distribute more. But defensively, he's been really solid. I mean, even though they, um, with the 1-0 loss to Leeds the other day, which was
It was a
rough to
good
watch.
game. It was a really good game.
No, that was an amazing game, but
It
neither
was,
team could finish for their
Leeds
lives.
Leeds is doing really good this season, despite like they've lost some, but
Yeah.
they're doing really good. Like their attacking is really good. They're really fast off the ball.
Yeah, they move and they're so high energy, and a
Yeah,
team like Everton was able to combat that well. You see, even though they lost, they only let up one goal. It could have been a lot more on both
Yeah,
ends if both teams would have finished, but um,
yeah, and
def-
Leeds
yeah,
have Leeds have been really good. I saw a stat this past weekend that in their 4 games against Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Everton, which are four really good teams, they've had like 52 shots in those 4 games. So
yeah,
that just shows that like Leeds have been able to create a lot. So that's really good with them. But Everton, yeah, they were a bit shaky this weekend against Leeds. But what I really like from Everton is that I feel like they're finally like creating like their own system, and I feel like that has a lot to do with their coach. Like having a coach like Ancelotti, like there's it's not that many teams around the world that's gonna have a coach with that much experience and knowledge behind them. So I feel like Everton, like that's a huge advantage for them to have a coach like Ancelotti.
yeah, I agree
yeah,
with you
yeah,
because he's been like one of my favorite coaches ever since Real Madrid, and he actually brought James to Real Madrid. He saw him from the World Cup, and I was really happy when I found out that James was going to Everton because I knew James was going to get playing time, and he's very comfortable with how he moves his team. And the style of play of Ancelotti, I really like, and I feel like we got lucky this time with having him as a manager. And you've seen this year, like the change from last year. We got
yeah.
more new players, and we're playing more as a team, and we want to fight.
Yeah, Everton play more as a team. That's definitely the right thing to say because, uh, aside from I mean, they've been in a rough patch now since their first four wins and a draw. They've come out with only one win, and then four losses. And they've been against some good teams, and they've played well. There's no doubt as to whether or not they played well. It's not all games that they could have done too much differently besides finish, but they definitely play more as a team. I mean, you see the links between all the players, the links between James and Calvert-Lewin up top. Calvert-Lewin up top with 10 goals this season, I believe. It's been insane.
Yeah,
He's crazy in the air. You can't beat him in the air. You're
yeah,
not gonna
but I'll be honest with you. I don't like Calvin Lewin at all. Cause
really.
you know
Yeah,
why? Because he disappears the whole game.
he's
He
difficult to
doesn't do
watch. He's difficult to
anything. And then next thing you know, he scores 2 goals. I'm like, oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, you don't
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah, I would say Calvert-Lewin is one of those strikers that I feel like he's the definition of a striker, though someone
He's lethal. I'm
who's
not gonna lie.
always who's always there in the moment, always there where he's supposed to be, and then finishing. I feel like at least in the Premier League, there's a lot of the strikers are more like pace oriented, like creating oriented. Like we see like fast strikers like Vardy or Ings, or we see like creative forwards like Kane or Firmino. But you don't see that many forwards that are just in the box, always there, ready to score a goal. So I feel like that's what he brings differently, and the fact that he's been able to find form for both Everton and England, I feel like that's something great to have in a team for sure.
Yeah, as
Yeah,
long as he's
definitely.
scoring goals
Yeah.
and giving us good results, I'm good with that. But he's something else. But
He's on and off. You can't always count on him. You can't always count on him to get one.
yeah,
You know
So
who's been a little underwhelming though? I'm sorry, you can get to that in a minute, but
yeah,
who's been a little underwhelming though? Richarlison
oh
hasn't
yeah,
hasn't done too much. I haven't seen his stats, and I'm sure they're probably a little better than I remembered them to be this season at least. But I know he's talented, and I just feel like he doesn't work on that left wing. He needs to be that central player, and with Calvert-Lewin there, you're not going to get in front of that because he's more clinical. Richarlison is more creative though, but he doesn't work on a wing. He needs to work straight on. I feel like they need to put him in more of an attacking midfield position behind Calvert-Lewin. Maybe put James at left wing even. I know he would drift towards the center anyway, but that might even provide a two-striker formation. I think it's something that they should be willing to try. That Ancelotti should, try to implement at least, because they might get a couple more goals that way. That might be the thing that gets them out of this rough patch. That gets them to scoring more goals, even if it's more than they're already scoring, because they're scoring quite a few, even with Calvert-Lewin on 10 already. But they could score quite a few more goals if they figure out how to use Richarlison, because that seemed to be a problem this season. I feel like once they figure out as a new team, I understand it's a new team. You can expect a almost new team because of transfers this season, especially with a brand new midfield, which is a crucial part of the game. But once you figure out how they all play together, and once you figure out how they can create together and feed the forwards, and the talent you have in both Calvert-Lewin, who's just the finishing, and Richarlison, who's a lot technical and very creative player, um, they'll be able to score more goals and get out of this rough patch.
yeah, and I think as I was gonna say before, what I was gonna go on to was talk about the Everton's rough patch, and we wanted to get your opinion on what you think is the factor that could change that would bring Everton back to the top of the table, or to fight for potential Champions Europa League spot.
I feel like right now we can still make good results. It's just the fact that sometimes we need to defend more. Like sometimes we're too loose in the midfield because how I said James doesn't really come back and like um defend. And also we picked up many injuries. Like Richarlison just got back from not my bad. Richarlison just got back from red card, but he also got injured like 2 3 weeks ago of his ankle. And Digne, Lucas Digne, the left back. That's going to be a very loss for us because he's a really solid left back, and
Yeah,
he
that's
could
big.
create many
That's big.
chances. And and what I feel is that like if we're all fit, then we'll be like we doing good how we started the season. But in overall, I feel like we'll still keep up, but there's gonna be like some changes. I feel like we have to like 50-50. We have to attack, but at the same time, we got to come back and help out the defense because our defense is kind of iffy sometimes. With Mina in the back and Kane, I feel like they don't really go as well. I like uh Holgate, that's his name. Holgate.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
name.
I like him better. He's been doing pretty good, but yeah, I feel like we just have to defend more. That's my overall.
Yeah, definitely, especially letting up two goals against a team like Fulham, who are, I think 19th, 18th, 19th right now. They're pretty low down. They're all in relegation, if not that. But yeah, especially letting up goals against that, you kind of have to look at your defense and say, all right, what do we need to do differently? Because if Fulham's able to open us up like that, I know they have creativity in Patrick Bamford, despite being so low down in the table. But against a big team, once they play once they play Tottenham again, they beat Tottenham first game of the season, which was huge.
1-0.
Um, yeah, that was a huge win. We didn't realize that until now, looking at where we are in Tottenham, being in amazing form right now. But once they come back around to the Tottenham, and when City figures everything out, once if United has a good game against them, once they play Chelsea, that will all be those will all be factors into the defense, because today we saw Tottenham Chelsea came down to the defending and 0-0. And a team like Everton, if they let a team like Tottenham or Chelsea in like that, they're going to capitalize. So once they figure out that defense, they can definitely get back into that top four. I don't know about winning the league this year, especially with the form they've been in lately, but any inconsistency, you can't really count on them being consistent. But definitely a top four contender, I would say.
Nah, yeah. It's a new start for us. It's a new team this year. The Premier League is a very competitive league because even though like there's lower teams, you never know what to expect from every team because every team is a decent, solid team. But you never know what could happen. You never know.
Yeah, you never really know, but I think Everton will definitely continue to show us flashes of being a really well-oiled team. I think James will continue his great form. I think Ancelotti will continue to be a great manager. And I wish Everton the best this season because I've enjoyed watching their football so far. But yeah, we want to first of all, we want to say a big thank you for coming on today.
Thank you guys.
Um, we were really excited to introduce something new to our channel and to be able to interact with someone else, get another mind, another soccer mind to our channel. So we want to say thank you for joining us today for sure.
Thank you guys for inviting me. I hope to be another podcast soon.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're gonna be signing out now. We want to say thank you to anyone who's listened, and yeah, just another reminder that this is our first installment of our fan mini series. We're gonna have another installment of this next week, and our next video is going to be another match week preview, and that should be out around Thursday, Friday next week. So we want to say thank you from Premier Perspective, and see you soon.